My child, stop. Stop what you're doing. Stop trying to reason your way out of what your spirit already knows. Stop pretending the ache you feel is normal, because it's not. What you feel now, this tightening in your chest, this trembling in your bones, this whisper in the air that refuses to leave you, it's not anxiety, it's not imagination, it's a warning from heaven, and it is urgent. Archangel Michael is crying. Not because he doubts your worth, not because he's lost his power, but because you are not listening, because heaven has sent sign after sign, soft whisper after gentle nudge, and still you've looked away, still you've said maybe tomorrow, maybe later, maybe never, and now heaven is shaking. The gates have opened, and Michael, not with a war cry but with a thunderous, grieving plea, is calling your name. My beloved child, he says, you are walking toward danger while holding the very shield meant to protect you, at your side unused. His sword is drawn, not to strike you, but to strike what is striking you. He has stood watch over your life since the hour you were born. He has driven away shadows you never saw. He has caught arrows meant for your heart. And now he's speaking. But you must hear him, you must listen. Because the message that is arriving now is not a suggestion, it is not encouragement, it is a divine intervention. There is something approaching, something you cannot see yet, and you are not ready for it, but you can be if you stay, if you sit in this moment, if you open your spirit, if you lean in until the very last word. Michael says, you are not forgotten, you are not cursed, you are not invisible to heaven, but you are in danger if you continue ignoring the voice of God. I know you've been carrying weight no one else sees, questions you never dared speak aloud, tears you wiped away before anyone noticed. You've wondered, does anyone really see me? Does heaven really hear me? Yes, Michael saw it all. He saw you collapse in silence. He saw you give when no one gave to you. He saw you holding on to faith by a thread, and still you kept going. And that's why this message found you, because despite your wounds, despite your exhaustion, you have not stopped. But now, you are too close to stop, too close to turn back, too close to let fear silence what God is speaking over your life. Something has shifted. Not weeks from now, not next year, right. Now, Michael says, heaven has dispatched intervention. There is a door opening that no one can close, except you. And if you walk away from this moment, if you say this isn't real, if you ignore this voice again, you will delay what has already been set in motion. And what has been set in motion? A blessing. Yes, a blessing of immense magnitude. A miracle you didn't ask for, a restoration you thought was impossible, a sudden favor from someone you don't yet know, but whose spirit has already begun to shift because of you. Michael says, I have seen the one assigned to bless you. I have stood beside them in the night as they toss and turn, troubled by a name they don't yet understand. Your name. A person of influence, a soul of means, someone who has walked through the corridors of great wealth and now, without fully knowing why, cannot stop thinking about you. They are being stirred, Michael says, by the voice of the Father, to bless what the world tried to bury, to restore what was stolen, to elevate what was once overlooked and beloved. That is you, you who were passed by, you who were mocked, you who stayed faithful in obscurity. This message found you not because of luck, but because of legacy. There are promises over your life that must be fulfilled, and this moment is the doorway. But make no mistake, there is resistance, Michael says. The enemy has caught the scent of your breakthrough. He knows something is coming. He doesn't know the full plan, but he feels the tremble of your rising. And so he has sent distractions, false comfort, doubt wrapped in logic, fear disguised as wisdom. He wants you to scroll past, to shrug, to say, this isn't for me. But it is for you. Because Michael is crying for you, and his tears are not ordinary. They are the sound of a warrior grieving the thought that you might miss what's been divinely written for you since before the foundations of the earth. Right now, heaven is roaring your name, and yet you still have a choice. You can say yes, you can type, "I receive this warning" in the comments. You can declare to heaven that you are listening now, that you are awake, that you are ready, or you can let it pass. But Michael says, if you walk away again, you may delay what cannot be duplicated. You may close a door I was commanded to hold open, and I may not be given permission to cry for you again. Let that tremble in your bones. Let it awaken the part of you that used to believe. This isn't about fear. It's about urgency. It's about protection. It's about destiny. You are closer than you think, he says. Closer than you've ever been to breakthrough, to favor, to the life that once felt too far away. The question is not if it will come. The question is, will you be ready when it arrives? Stay. Do not skip, do not scroll, do not silence what heaven is shouting. This was not meant to scare you, it was meant to wake you, and in the next part, Michael will reveal who is being sent and why your name was the one whispered in their sleep. My child, if you are still here, still reading, still feeling the weight of this moment, then heaven has succeeded in reaching through the noise. Because what you are stepping into now is no longer a warning. It is a rescue, a divine rescue, not from fire but from silence, not from failure but from forgetting who you are. And Michael, he is still weeping. I am not crying because you are weak, he says. I am crying because your strength has made you numb. You've carried too much for too long, and now you mistake survival for purpose. But beloved, survival is not your destiny. Victory is. And something has already shifted. The rescue has already begun. Yes, while you were sleeping, while you were questioning, while you were nearly giving up. Heaven moved. A door cracked open. A name, your name, rose like fire into the halls of the Spirit. And someone, a person of great influence, was stirred. They don't know why, they don't know you yet, but they cannot stop thinking about you. I did that, Michael says. I whispered your name into the heart of someone who holds keys, not because you earned it, but because you were chosen. And now this person walks through palaces. They sit at tables you've only dreamed of. Their hands move wealth, opportunity, legacy. And now their spirit is unsettled. Their rest is disturbed because you are on their heart. They have no explanation. They only know that something about you feels divinely urgent. And here you are, reading this, still unsure if it's real. But Michael weeps, not because you question, he weeps because he sees what's behind the curtain and what you are at risk of walking away from. He sees the miracle forming like clouds over your life. He sees the strategies of heaven circling your name. He sees the blessing you've long waited for, now within reach. And he sees the enemy watching, circling, plotting. The enemy is terrified, Michael says, not of what you've done, but of what you're about to walk into. That's why he's distracting you. That's why you felt sudden confusion. That's why doubts you thought you buried have resurfaced. He hopes you'll dismiss this moment. He hopes you'll treat it like any other video, any other message, any other day. But it isn't, it is not. This moment was written into your life before you were born. It was placed in your path not as content, but as confirmation. Michael says you have been under assault because you are under assignment. The tears you've cried in silence, they were not wasted. The disappointments that nearly broke you, they were not delays. They were preparation, because what's coming is too holy to be carried by someone bitter. What's coming is too heavy to be held by someone still bleeding. What's coming is too important to be missed. So listen, beloved, the rescue is already in motion. The doors are opening, the favor is flowing, the help is already walking toward you, but you still must make a choice. Will you respond? Will you move when heaven says move? Will you open your heart, your hands, your mind to believe again, to believe that you are the one this was written for? If your soul whispers yes, then type "I receive the rescue" in the comments. Let the realm of spirit mark your name. Let the angels see that you are listening. Let Michael's weeping begin to turn into joy. Because right now, even as you breathe, even as you read, plans are shifting. The person who will bless you is being accelerated. The gate is widening. But so is the battle, and Michael is still on the front lines, fighting for a soul who doesn't even know how close they are. To glory, he says, do not give up now. You are almost there. You are moments away from the turning point. The enemy knows it. He smells the breakthrough, and that is why he's launched everything, every fear, every distraction, every logical excuse. He's hoping you say, this is too good to be true. This is for someone else. This is coincidence. But this is not coincidence. This is God. This is timing. This is prophecy. This is the rescue. So if you still have strength, stay with me, because in the next part, you will find out what Archangel Michael saw about you that made him weep in heaven. It is not what you think. It is more beautiful, more terrifying, and more sacred than you've ever imagined, and it may change everything. Beloved one, now you must listen more carefully than ever before, because what comes next is the reason Michael has been weeping. He is not crying out of pity. He is not crying because you failed. He is not crying because you are lost. He is crying because of what he sees inside you. Yes, you. He sees what even you have refused to look at. He sees the calling you buried, the strength you hid, the anointing you silenced, because life taught you to be quiet, to be small, to survive. But you were never created to survive. You were designed to awaken. You are not broken, Michael says. You are boundless, but you have been blindfolded. And now, heaven is done waiting for you to open your eyes on your own. This message, this moment, this sound in your spirit right now is the hand of God pulling the blindfold off. You are chosen, he says again. You are not forgotten, and I will not allow you to remain hidden one more moment. Michael is crying because you have no idea how close you are to stepping into something eternal. You think this is about breakthrough. You think this is about finances. You think this is about getting out of a hard place. But heaven knows the truth. This is about the unveiling of your divine identity. It was never about comfort. It was about calling and the weight you've carried, the confusion, the waiting, the rejection, the silence. They were never punishments. They were preparation. Michael says your pain has made you ready, not weak, ready. You were not delayed. You were not disqualified. You were hidden for protection, because what is about to emerge from your life will shift generations. Let that sink in. Let the weeping in your chest match the weeping of heaven, because what you are about to walk into was prayed for by people who came before you, ancestors who cried out for the bloodline to be restored, for shame to be broken, for a voice to rise up in the family that could finally speak life where death once ruled. You are that voice. You are the answer to a cry you never heard, the fulfillment of a promise you never made, but were born to carry. That is why the attacks on your life have been so strategic, why the delays have been so precise, why the enemy has whispered lies dressed as logic. You're not qualified. You're too late. It's already over. Be realistic. But heaven is roaring a different report. You are appointed for this hour. You were born for this moment. You have been set apart. If your spirit hears this, type, I receive what heaven sees in me. Say it out loud if you can. Break the silence that has held you hostage for years, because right now, even as you declare it, something is breaking. Chains in your thinking, fog around your purpose, the weight in your chest that said you're just surviving no more. Michael says, I have stood guard over this moment for decades. I have waited through generations of disappointment to bring this seed into the light. And now, I will not let the enemy steal it from you. But beloved, heaven cannot override your will. You must say yes. You must respond. You must believe that there is more in you than even you understand. Because it's not just about being blessed. It's about being sent. Yes, someone of great wealth is being stirred. Yes, favor is rising. Yes, new doors are opening, but not just to give you comfort. They are opening because your voice, your light, your existence has work to do. You are carrying something that others need, and heaven will bless you, not to spoil you, but to equip you. You are an answer, Michael says, and you must be positioned. That's why the divine appointment is happening. That's why your name is being spoken in places you've never been. That's why the person of influence is being stirred awake at night, not by strategy, but by the Spirit. They don't know why, but their heart is shifting. They feel an assignment, but they can't yet explain it because they are being sent to sponsor your assignment. Let that word settle. Sponsor. You are not just going to receive help, you are going to be launched. And it begins. Now here, with your decision to stay. If this resonates with your spirit, type "I'm ready to be revealed." Let heaven see it. Let Michael's cries become songs of celebration, because what is coming next is not a message. It is a revelation, a revealing of the part of you that hell has tried to silence, a revealing of the reason you were born, a revealing of the mission that will make sense of every silent night you endured. And in the next part, Michael will show you the very moment heaven decided you would not be overlooked. Stay with me, my child. You're not just listening anymore, you're waking up. My child, can you feel it? The stirring in your chest, the pressure in your spirit, the voice that's not coming from outside, but from within. It's not fear, it's not confusion, it is remembrance, because the veil is lifting not just from the world around you, but from your own identity. And now, Archangel Michael speaks again. But this time his voice trembles differently. It's no longer just grief, it's not just warning, it is intercession. You were hidden on purpose, he says, but that time is over now. Yes, you were hidden, not because you were weak, not because you were forgotten, but because the world was not ready for what you carry. You were misunderstood, overlooked, dismissed, but heaven never looked away. While you cried in silence, while you wondered why your prayers seemed unanswered, God was guarding you. I concealed you, Michael says, because the battle was not yet yours to fight. There were storms meant for others. There were betrayals you never needed to face. There were delays that were actually shields in disguise. And now, the time of hiding is over. You are being revealed, he says. Heaven has spoken your name aloud. The rooms you were never invited into, they are now searching for you. That person of influence, the one stirred in their spirit, the one who cannot explain why your image keeps appearing before them, they have heard your name, spoken not by you, but by the breath of heaven. They are being moved, not by strategy, not by marketing, by the divine, and they don't even fully understand it yet. They think it's intuition, coincidence, a gut feeling. But we both know better, don't we? It's God, God whispering, God directing, God fulfilling what was written about you before you took your first breath. You were hidden, Michael says again, but not from purpose, for purpose. The enemy tried to convince you otherwise. He whispered, you've been overlooked because you're not ready, you're not chosen, you're too late. But the truth is, the hiding was the preparation, the silence was the sharpening, the isolation was the insulation. Because now, you are being launched, and here's what you must understand. There is no going back, no returning to smallness, no settling for surviving, no more waiting for the world to give you permission to be what heaven already called you. This is not a soft season. This is a shift. The earth is groaning for your emergence, Michael says. The spirit is calling you into position. You can't afford to move casually anymore. You can't afford to delay obedience. You can't afford to say, maybe later, because later has arrived. Later is now. If this speaks to your spirit, type, I will not hide anymore. Declare it with trembling hands if you must, because even that trembling is holy. Even that fear is being sanctified. Even your weakness is being anointed. You are not rising because you are ready. You are rising because it is time. Michael says, the person assigned to open the door for you, they are already standing at it. But they are waiting for heaven's signal, and that signal is your voice, your yes, your obedience. Do you understand now why the enemy has been loud lately? Do you understand why fatigue has felt heavier? Why doubts have resurfaced? Why familiar temptations have knocked again? Because the enemy sees what's approaching. He smells the fragrance of glory. He sees the veil parting, and he is desperate to delay your emergence. But Michael, he is crying because he sees the other side. He sees you, anointed, elevated, established. He sees rooms you'll walk into that once mocked your name. He sees chains falling off your family line. He sees your obedience setting off a ripple across generations. You are the answer, he says, and the time of waiting is complete. If your spirit is stirred, type, reveal me, Lord. Let the angels mark your readiness. Let heaven record your name among those who responded, because what happens next requires your full attention. Michael says, be careful. There are those who will try to attach themselves to your blessing, not because they honor it, but because they covet it. You must walk wisely. You must protect the seed. You must guard your spirit. The one being sent to bless you, they are discerning, yes, but they are also human, which means they need your prayer. Yes, you must pray for them. Cover them even before they arrive. Speak strength into their mind, clarity into their path, peace into their decisions. Because what is coming is not a transaction, it is a divine alignment, not a gift, a commissioning. Heaven is not just trying to bless you, it's trying to position you. And that positioning, it's bigger than you, it's louder than your fear, it's older than your trauma, it's holier than your hesitation. So rise, take your place, speak your yes, walk into the unveiling, because in the next part, you will see what heaven has already written about your next chapter, and it will explain every delay, every disappointment, and every door that ever closed. Don't walk away now. What's coming next will break the silence forever. My child, you are not late, you are not lost, and you are certainly not forgotten. You were planted, positioned, preserved. It was all strategic, Michael says. Every delay, every detour, every door that closed before you could walk through it, they were never denials, they were designs. You see, heaven was never in a hurry, because what you carry cannot be rushed. You were never supposed to bloom before the roots were deep enough to hold the weight. And now the roots are ready. But here's what you must understand now. The next move is not heaven's, it's yours. Michael is no longer weeping in grief. He is now standing in expectation. Because the rescue has reached its moment of transfer. You have been pulled from hiding, revealed in the spirit, stirred in the hearts of strangers, and surrounded by divine acceleration. But none of that matters if you don't move. Beloved, this is not a warning anymore. This is a release of favor, a release of identity, a release of what has been locked away in you, not because of fear, but because of timing. And now that time has come. The person sent to bless you is ready, Michael says. They have the means, they have the reach, they have the permission, but they are waiting on one thing, your faith. Not your perfection, not your plan, just your yes. So let me ask, you now, will you move? Will you allow the chains of hesitation to finally snap? Will you stop asking if you're ready and start trusting that God already said yes? If your spirit whispers yes, then type, I'm ready to move. Not because you feel ready, but because you know you were born for this. Michael continues, you think you're waiting on God, but heaven is waiting on you. You've asked, when will it be my time? Why hasn't the breakthrough come? Why do I feel so close yet still stuck? Here is the truth, whispered not from content but from eternity. The door is already open. You just haven't stepped through it because fear still clutches the edge of your robe, because voices from the past echo louder than the present truth, because comfort still feels safer than calling. But child, comfort cannot carry destiny. The weight of your anointing requires motion. The glory appointed to your life demands obedience, not when it's convenient, but when it's God-ordained, and that moment is now. Michael says, you were anointed in silence. You were affirmed in private. Now you must obey in public. You will not be mocked. You will not be shamed. You will not fail, because what you are stepping into has already been secured by heaven. The provision is in place. The people are aligned. The protection is already surrounding you. All that's missing is your motion. If this strikes your spirit, type, I move in faith. Let the angels record your obedience. Let the heavens see your name rise like incense. Let the divine connection finally activate. Because yes, the one who has been chosen to bless you is closer than you think. They have seen signs, they have heard instructions, and they are one decision away from finding you. But listen carefully. This connection is conditional. It is waiting for a sound, not of desperation, but of declaration. You must speak. You must agree. You must move. Because there are still forces that would rather see you silent. Still voices in the dark who remember who you were, not who you are becoming. But Michael has one more truth for you. Hell has underestimated your obedience. They thought you would stay confused. They thought you would remain bitter. They thought your waiting would turn to wasting, but it didn't. You have endured. You have listened. You have lasted. And now you are rising. So let this be the moment you declare it. I am no longer waiting. I am walking. Type it, feel it. Prophesy it over your life, because your movement is not just personal. It's prophetic. You are setting motion in the spirit. You are disturbing the plans of darkness. You are activating the people who have been assigned to assist you. And in the next part, Michael will reveal the exact kind of blessing that's been withheld until now, and why it's finally being released into your hands. But only if you don't give up now, only if you move. Because, beloved, you are the signal. My beloved child, do you feel the stillness? That sacred quiet right before something shifts? Heaven has been holding its breath for this very moment. And now, Michael speaks again, but his voice is no longer weeping. It's burning. The blessing, he says, the one you've prayed. For the one they said you missed, the one hell tried to steal, it's not lost. It was simply waiting for your alignment. Yes, child, not your effort, not your perfection, not even your understanding. It was waiting for your alignment, your agreement with heaven's truth about you, your surrender, your yes. Because what's being released now is not ordinary. This is not just a financial shift, not just a relationship healed, not just a door opened. This is a divine release of what was sealed away in the spirit until you remembered who you are. Michael says, the gates are open, the scroll has been unsealed, and what is yours is coming because you came into agreement with heaven. What does that mean? It means no one can block what's coming. No curse can cancel it. No delay can outpace it. No voice can silence it, because it is written. Your name is on the scroll, he says, and the blessing is tied to your obedience. That's why the battle has been fierce. That's why the timing felt off. That's why the enemy attacked you hardest right before now, because this is the part hell hoped you'd never reach. But you're here. You didn't fold. You didn't disappear. You didn't trade your birthright for temporary comfort. You held on, and now heaven is honoring your endurance. So what exactly is being released? Favor that finds you when you're not even looking. Provision that solves what logic could never calculate. Divine connections with people who carry keys to doors you don't even know exist yet. But even more than these, a mantle, a spiritual authority you couldn't fake even if you tried. The kind that shifts atmospheres when you walk in the room. The kind that awakens others simply by your presence. The kind that makes hell tremble when you whisper, "Yes, Lord." Because this blessing is not about material things, it's about mission. Michael says, you are not just receiving something, you are becoming something, and that is far more powerful. Yes, beloved, you are becoming the answer, the voice, the restoration, the rebuilder of broken foundations, the lighthouse for others who are still lost in the dark. That's why this moment matters. That's why this message found you. That's why. The delay had to end here. You are stepping into divine timing, he says, and nothing can stop what's been activated. If you feel this in your spirit, if every word has confirmed what you couldn't explain but always knew, then type, "I accept the release." Say it aloud if you can. Let the atmosphere around you witness the shift. Let the angels record your surrender. Let your name rise on the winds of glory, because as you type, heaven moves. Right now, the one sent to partner with you, they're sensing the pull, they're feeling the urgency, they're moving toward your life. You won't have to chase, you won't have to convince, you won't have to prove. They will recognize you because heaven already introduced you. So now, Michael gives you one final instruction. Stay in alignment. Do not return to smallness. Do not apologize for being chosen. Do not delay your next yes. Because what's coming will require your focus, your clarity, your consistency, but it will also be glorious. The blessing isn't just coming, it's arriving, and it will come with confirmation so strong you won't be able to deny it's from God. It will carry the scent of divine orchestration. It will carry the weight of answered prayers. It will carry the peace that says, "This is it." So if you're still here, still reading, still listening, still letting the Spirit work in you, then this is your moment to finish strong. Type amen to seal it. Type it is done. Type Michael, I'm ready. Let this be your final agreement. Let this be your marker in the Spirit. Let this be the day you stopped circling the mountain and stepped into the promised place, because it's not coming, it's here and now as the final seal settles upon this divine message. There is something deeper still, a whisper beneath the thunder. Michael is still with you, not hovering above, but standing beside you. You thought I cried only because of your delay, he says, but I wept because of what you never knew you carried. There were gifts buried so deep within you, even you forgot they were ever planted. Dreams that felt like echoes. Visions you once dismissed as fantasy. Whispers you labeled as your imagination. But they were never your ideas. They were assignments, and heaven never forgot them. That is why, even when you stepped away, the calling did not fade. Even when you silenced your voice, the sound of your destiny still rang in the heavens. You cannot unbelong, Michael says. You were written into the scroll before fear ever found your name. So now, child, you do not walk into favor as a stranger. You return to it as a rightful heir. Let that truth settle in your spirit. You are not trespassing. You are not borrowing. You are not stealing grace that was meant for someone else. You are simply stepping into what was already yours. And the angels, they are rejoicing, not because you achieved anything, but because you finally agreed with what heaven has always seen, with what hell always feared, with what your own soul is now remembering. Michael says, the blessing is not fragile. The promise is not delayed. The covenant is not broken. You are still chosen. If this resonates with even the smallest corner of your soul, type, I return to my inheritance. Type, I am still chosen. Let your voice break the silence of shame. Let your faith shatter the fog of fear. Let your declaration signal heaven, you believe again. And in believing, you become not just a receiver, but a revealer, not just a vessel, but a voice for others, for generations, for glory. So rise, beloved, this is not the end of a message, this is the activation of a mission. Heaven has spoken, Michael has stood beside. You bend now, you move. Beloved child, there is one last thing Michael needs you to hear, not with your ears, but with the part of your soul that remembers heaven. The promise was never denied, he says. It was simply preserved. For the version of you that finally believed, this version of you, the one who still showed up after heartbreak, the one who kept praying even when silence answered, the one who said yes with trembling hands. That's who the promise was waiting for, because this blessing cannot land on bitterness, it cannot rest on pride, it cannot thrive in fear, it only moves towards surrender. And now, because you have surrendered, it is moving. You may not see it yet, but the shift has begun. The air has changed, the scroll has turned, and what is coming will fit your hands like it was always meant to. Michael says, what's next will not strain you, it will recognize you. So if your heart is saying yes, if your spirit is weeping in agreement, type, I receive what was meant for me. Let the heavens witness your trust. Let the gates respond to your faith. It is not too late. It is right. On time.